What's up, everyone? Andre here, along with Paul Gale, who attended the opening ceremony, the opening press day ceremony of Super Nintendo World in Hollywood. We're excited to talk about all of it with all of you and answer your questions about it. Paul, how are you doing?
Oh, fantastic. Got a good night's sleep. Mind totally awake now, recollecting all of the cool things that we got to see and do on our adventure back-to-back days.
It was crazy,
Perfect.
yes. So we were there 2 nights ago during the opening streaming ceremony. They brought in, Shigeru Miyamoto was there. We saw Chris Pratt. Was it Alison Brie, I think? Is that her name? Or
Brie Larson?
Thank you, Brie Larson. There we go.
Yeah.
So Alison Brie's a very different person. And yeah, so they brought in there was a ton of people there. They had a special lighting set up with the projections over the land. It was so cool to be there. Then we got to go there the following day as well. Check out the land during the daytime and check out the Mario Kart ride, try Toadstool Cafe, and all the little activities around the land. So we've had a busy. It was like a whirlwind. It was it's a complete blur almost at this point, but it was a ton of fun. So, chat. By the way, how are we sounding? Can you hear everything okay? Let us know. It should be good. Credo says, "Is there pineapple on pizza? Do they have pizza at the land? Is that even an option?"
It didn't have pizza, but with pizza or mushrooms being a popular pizza topping, I'm sure that they'll have it eventually.
Yeah, I think
they did, after all, have a new item, as we both know what we got to try. So
yeah,
I think more things will come in time.
And that was the Toad short rib or something?
The Toad short rib, which was delicious.
Wow.
That might be my favorite single thing. But
it was really good. I tried a little bit of yours, and
yeah.
I can see why that would be your favorite. I was pretty happy with my Fire Flower meatballs. I like that they actually had a kick to them, which is something you don't see too often in theme park food. So I appreciated that. They actually stayed true to the Fire Flower name. It was pretty great. So chat, yeah, we're here to answer your questions. Ask us what you want to know about the land. We both have the chat open, so we can answer whatever you're wondering about. And we had a question here from, what is the meaning of life? Anything about Super Nintendo World. Anything about Super Nintendo World, not everything else.
I see a good question. I don't know how you want to do it, but
go for it.
Resilient Penguin just asked a question: is there vegetarian options in the cafe? And yes, there are. That was one of the things that you were going to order, right? Was the Superstar salad?
I was considering it, but it looked really cool.
We didn't go. Yeah, so the Superstar salad looked nice, and there's one other thing as well, I believe, that is a vegetarian option. So good question, and I think they took into consideration that for sure.
Ian Kimball asks, was a Fire Flower meatballs hot? They actually were, they were spicy, I'd say. And you tried some too, Paul. Did you notice it was spicy much, or was that something that I only noticed but it had so much of it?
I have a very high tolerance for spice, so it was mildly spicy, but I could tell that it was there. For me to feel the burn, I need a lot.
It wasn't insanely hot, but I thought it was surprisingly, surprisingly spicy for theme park food. So
it was good.
Jack Gill asks, did you guys go into Bowser Jr.'s castle? Yes, we did. We went into, I don't know if is it really, what is it actually? It's not really a castle per se, is it? Like his vault?
Bowser Jr.'s dungeon?
Yeah, is it his dungeon? That might be it.
If you want to call it a dungeon?
So in order to get access to the dungeon, you need to get 3 keys from around the land. I think there's 4 or 5 opportunities, 4 or 5 little mini games around the land. If you beat them, you can get a key. Then you get 3 keys to scan your power. Oh, I don't have my power band with me. Do you have yours on, Paul?
Oh. I don't have mine on me. I mean, I could quickly get them. I think I have.
If you could go grab it real quick, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I don't know where mine is.
Let me see if I can grab them.
All right, sounds good. I'll entertain chat. So once you have, you do everything with the band effectively. You save it to the band. Once you have it, you can scan it and you can get access to Bowser Jr.'s lair. And that's when you play in this really fun battle challenge against Bowser Jr. Paul will have more to say about it when he gets back. But it was super. I actually really enjoyed that. That might be my favorite of the mini games that I played. So Jake asks in the chat, did you hear Mario, Luigi, or Peach mascot speak? Yes, we did. Our Paul's back with the power band. Excellent. Show it off, Paul. When you can hear me.
All right. Good timing.
Yes, good. Thank you.
These are the super power-up bands, and Mario is the one that I originally purchased myself when I was there on January 12th, or the 12th, and then the 19th I already had it. So that's cool. And this is the one that Nintendo and Universal Studios comped us for. You got Toad?
I got Toad. Yeah, I wish I could show it off right now. But yeah, so we got ours. during our preview event for free, luckily. I'm going to be honest, though, Paul. I was shocked when I found out the price of these things. I was shocked. And I was shocked twice, actually. Because I first saw that the price was $40. But it turns out that price is only for, like, the preview days, right? Like, for the early access, like, when you went to the soft opening, right?
It was 40 on those 2 days, and then still 40 for us. I mean, we didn't have to buy it, fortunately, but yeah, so apparently they're going to go up in price, which it could be live now, because with today being the official launch, maybe the price has already changed, or maybe they're just going to do it soon.
Which is supposed to be, what, $60?
I thought 50. I mean,
okay, I thought I heard 60.
Whether it's 50 or 60, that's still a considerable jump.
It is. So I saw a question in here from someone who asking, how much does it cost to go to Super Nintendo World? So I guess the cost itself is just a base admission of Universal Studios Hollywood, which is usually not that bad. I think it's around like $80 or $90 per day. Do you know, Paul, offhand?
Something along those lines. I mean, I think for California residents, you could have the yearly pass and pay like $168 for the year and have a certain amount of things. So usually it's close to half-ish, and that's why they want you to buy a pass. So probably like $80 for a day, I think. Yeah,
I think it's around there. They have deals all the time too. Universal Studios Hollywood is actually pretty affordable by theme park standards, by Disneyland standards. But Paul, when you add in this power band wristband, that price is almost doubling. And you need this band to do most of the side activities in the land. You don't need it for the Mario Kart ride strictly, though you can scan yourself in to save your score and I think things of that effect. But if you want to do any of the other activities, you need this band, right?
To be fair, I mean, you could be walking around the park, hitting the power-up blocks, getting the coin sounds, because I tried it with my other arm and the coins still activate. You just don't have any collection of them. Right. You could participate in that Goomba cranking wheel and the Piranha Plant challenge. So you could do those, but you wouldn't be collecting a key.
Hold on. Can you actually do them? Because you scan in to start it.
So you don't have to scan in. That's just if you want to collect the actual coins and the keys. Because actually, the very first game that I played, I didn't even have a band yet. I was like, let me go. And I just hopped in. So I think for Bowser's Castle or Bowser's Dungeon, that's going to be the interesting one, because will they let you in eventually if not one person, at least in your party, has it? And we discussed yesterday, what if you're a family of 4? Or, are 3 of you, if only one of you have it, not allowed to go into the dungeon? Well, I don't think so, but...
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't fully know for sure, but yeah, basically, it seems at least one person needs the 3 keys to do the Bowser Jr. thing, which does require the wristband. So basically, to get the full experience of Super Nintendo World, you do need the wristband, and that is $50 to $60 more. I don't know. I think that's a hard thing to justify, but we'll talk more about that later. I want to talk more about how cool Super Nintendo World was in general outside of that. So let's see, what other questions do we have here? I know Jake asked earlier in the mascots talk. They do. We saw that during the live show, I think. They actually talk when you go meet them. So Mario and Luigi were like, hey, how's it going? Like, Luigi's like, say Luigi. I'm like, all right. Or say woohoo, or whatever it is. It's really...
they had their pre-recorded... Yeah, they're pre-recorded voice options, and they probably select them inside, and they don't talk live. Like, it's not, a Charles Martinet replicant standing in there, but there are a number of lines that they're probably tapping and stuff.
It's a little bit like the amiibo. It's a little bit like the Stormtroopers from Disneyland, where they have pre-recorded sayings, and so you have like some light interaction, but you're not gonna have like full conversations. Anyways, we have a question.
Is the band an amiibo? Yes, it does serve as an amiibo, so it does have an NFC chip inside. So you register yours by, scanning it to your Super Nintendo World app, and then this serves as a Yoshi amiibo. I actually tried it, with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it says you've already scanned this amiibo because, I've previously scanned a Mario amiibo in the game. But, that's a cool little bonus. For what you're paying for, you might as well get something else out of it.
Yeah, so have you tried it with other Switch games?
No, I just wanted to see the basic, like, what does it do in a game? And yeah, it just exactly does what a regular Mario generic amiibo would do.
Okay, so, I mean, that's kind of cool, but that's still expensive by amiibo standards. But most amiibo are, what, $15, $20?
Yeah. They've gone up a little bit more, like the recent one, Sephiroth, I think was maybe $16.99, but... Yeah, to add to the experience for the park, I don't know off the top of my head how much the price is for the Harry Potter wand, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's of a comparable price. And, that's a plastic accessory with some data inside, a little bit of a chip here and there. Right. It's fun, though.
Yeah.
It is cool.
It's cool. Yeah, I'll probably have more thoughts about it later. Metal X No 1 says, any hints on the Yoshi ride coming? So, no. I mean, yes. Rather, we have pretty concretely the fact that it's not coming to the land. We actually interviewed one of the show producers. You can go watch our interview for more details. But she basically explained that, yeah, we didn't have room for it, so we decided to cut it. But what is kind of cool, not quite the same, but they did incorporate elements of the ride, or at least thematically, in the queue for the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge ride. We now go through like a whole Yoshi's Island themed or Yoshi's Story themed section, which does not exist at Universal Studios Japan. So that's actually really cool, and probably won't exist either at Orlando. So that's kind of neat that they gave us, they did throw us a little bone in the form of this really neat queue section that doesn't exist elsewhere.
It is done really well. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, it's really neat. I really like the whole thing. You see, there's screens of Yoshis and they bounce around between them. There's one where he's eating enemies, and they just do all kinds of fun activities. I think the queue is really well done before it eventually leads into the Bowser's Castle section.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Go ahead.
There was no Toad mascot. Officially, this park for now has Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach. But we do know that Toad exists as a mascot in the Japanese parks, so that could be something, but nothing official yet.
Super Aiden says, "How was the music of the land, Andre?" It was good. To be honest, it doesn't really stand out that much to me. It fits perfectly. Everywhere has music, pretty much. I think you're always hearing Mario music, and the fact it doesn't stand out is probably what they're going for. It makes you feel like you're in that world. But I honestly wasn't paying that much attention to it. I don't know, were there any standout tracks you noticed, Paul? The one I'm thinking of now is the Yoshi music we heard in line for that first segment.
Princess Peach's castle has the iconic music from Super Mario 64. And I know when you walk out, I did hear Super Mario 3D World at some point. So that's their music from Mario 64. Remember, even at the warp pipe on the main entrance, there's a new type of Mario music that we actually, this sounds familiar yet new at the same time. Mm-hmm. Could be a Koji Kondo original. But yeah, there's music everywhere in the park. It's just nothing overwhelming, but you do feel like you're kind of a part of this world. You're in this game. Yeah,
I do remember that one track we were talking about, where it sounds Mario-esque, but didn't appear to be from any Mario game specifically, and we were wondering if that was real or not. Oh, real quick, we're showing on the screen right now exclusive angles of the castle for Peach's Castle that you will never get in the land itself, because we were only able to get it because of this of this stadium-style seating they set up, their bleachers, and this is an angle you won't get in real life at all. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, I do wonder that music was made by Koji Kondo or something. Koji Kondo, I'm pretty sure, was involved with the land, so it's possible given a new track from him. But in any case, Ethan asks, what would your reaction be to the Super Nintendo World song "We Are Born to Play" appears in the Mario movie end credits? That was so cool to hear and see in person. I don't know if it would fit the movie, but if it were there, I'd be fine with it.
Jed Whitaker asks, are the bathrooms anything special? Yes, if you actually watch GameXplain's second video, the Super Nintendo World Day 2, which is the night video. I think it's that one, or the first. I don't know. Check out the first two videos anyways. And, I had a moment of time where they closed off the bathroom so no one came in. So I gave a little bit of a tour around it. And it's underwater Super Mario Brothers music. So there's another question for the music too. The bathroom's painted, and instead of this giant rectangular mirror, it's an underwater scene, I believe from New Super Mario Brothers U. And the music is all atmospheric to underwater soundtrack. Yeah, so the bathroom is special.
Although it is kind of messed up that we're just going to the bathroom in the ocean. We're just polluting these poor bloopers. It's time we got back and those bloopers were inking us.
Well, are they mad at us because we did that to them?
But, you know what? Maybe you're right. Canon? How deep is this lore? Wow, I didn't even think about that. You're right. Oh man, yeah. The bathrooms are cute though. So and I think there's only one set of bathrooms, which makes sense. The land's not huge.
Yeah, one set, and that means that the restaurant does not have its own bathroom in it. But the bathrooms are conveniently located close to the
Does it not
restaurant.
have its own bathrooms? I didn't even think about that.
I asked that first time I
Good
went,
question.
and yeah, so unless if they have something different for employees, but
Super Aiden says that fireworks show in the ceremony was pretty neat. Yes, that was so cool seeing in person. Did not expect that. I'm hoping that they will do more of that in the future. Like maybe they'll have some kind of night show. I'm not expecting it. They've not announced anything, but it did show there's the potential for it, especially with like the projections they have set up around the land. Which they already I don't know if those were placed for a one-time event, but they could maybe do that more in the future. Like I could see like there is show potential there, kind of like how they do at the Harry Potter segment with the whole castle projections.
Think about the projections. If it's a Halloween time, what could they do for Luigi's Mansion?
Oh my god!
Projections of ghosts going around, and
speaking,
they can have. There's the potential is limitless. It's amazing.
Speaking of Luigi's Mansion, we found his Poltergust in line at Bowser's Castle.
In a Mario Kart ride, yeah.
Yep.
It was tucked off to the side.
Gavin asks, does it feel like you're in a Mario game?
I was about to say that one.
Sorry? Oh, you are? Yeah,
I was about to answer that one too, because I don't want to cut you off, but remember one thing I did? I ran around the whole park to see what was my time like, to get the experience of being Mario. Now, I was also operating Pikmin Bloom on my phone at the time, so I could be the only person in the world to mark my territory of Pikmin Bloom in the park. But yes, I wanted to get the experience of what if I was wahooing throughout the park. So in a sense, I was Mario, and Lakitu was somewhere behind me recording me, and I was jumping through, hitting every power block. So yeah, it does feel kind of like you're in a game, because the world is so beautiful that if you allow yourself to escape for a bit, I think you'll feel that too.
Yeah, it's a little hard to describe. Like, it doesn't literally feel like you're in a Mario game, of course, but it's probably the closest they can make it feel in real life. Like, it feels more like, I think this is a better analogy or a better point of comparison, is it feels like you're in Mario's world. Like, you feel like you're actually transported to the three-dimensional Mario environment, and that's freaking awesome. And they have game-like elements in there, which are reminiscent of the games, of course. Especially, I would say, the thing that reminds me the most of a game, besides the Mario Kart ride itself, is the Bowser Jr., whatever it's called, Bowser Jr. Showdown. Once you get the 3 keys and do that. One of my friends, I forget who it was, mentioned, like, it basically looks like a Kinect game, and I guess it does. But I had fun there, like, where I love how they incorporated, like, not only power-ups where you can grab fire flowers and mushrooms, but you can even jump. And when you jump, your character on this projection screen ahead of me, I'll see if I can find footage of it I can show. Like, your character jumps super high, and that's how you can, like, reach more power-ups or swat away bombs are coming in. It's super cool. I'm gonna see if I have footage of it right now. But yeah, like, the land does a great job making you feel like you're actually in Mario. Here we go. Here's footage of it, and it was. I've got the superstar here, and it was fun. I really enjoyed it. It actually reminded me of the Nick Arcade show way back in the '90s, where they'll put you into a video game, and I always wanted to do that, and this finally let me realize that. So,
and it was warmer too. Like, did you notice that when a flame appeared nearby, they raised up the heat or blasted a little bit of hot air at you?
Oh god, there's so much going on. I'm sure that's the case. Yeah.
Well, there's a question if Chris Pratt was there, and yes, he was, and you could see that in the video too. We had a couple of interactions.
He walked right by me. I didn't even see him in the video. You can see him walk right past me. I didn't even notice.
that was a funny one.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I have a feeling this will happen a couple of times. I apologize.
That's what happens with these delayed streams. Yep.
Will the ride fit, a passenger who's about 200 pounds? I guess those 200 pounds could be a different waist size depending if you're taller or shorter or what kind of, muscle mass, other mass you have. But we saw a lot of people of quite a few different statures being on it, and I think so. But then again, that kind of depends on per person, but I didn't see anybody not be able to get on, for what it's worth. And we went on it 5 times in 2 days. So there was not once a person that was like, oh, sorry, you don't fit. So for what it's worth, might be a smaller percentage, but
Yeah, I was going to. That's a question
Oh,
from Arg Luigi asking basically the same thing. Are they enforcing the waistline limit? And I'm sure they are. I'm sure they will be. But yeah, we didn't. I'm so to be fully honest, I'm actually right around 200 pounds right now. A little heavier than I want to be. Ideally, I can get back to Ring Fit and or play that freaking alarm clock game in Super Nintendo World, which is exhausting. We'll talk more about that later. But I had no problem fitting into it, and not that I know obviously people come in all shapes and sizes. Everyone wears their weight differently. I was actually surprised just how comfortable that ride was, based on the warnings we had heard. Like, hey, if your waistline is 42 inches or bigger, which I have no idea what my waistline actually is. You might not be able to fit on the ride, but I was surprised by how much room I still had left, at least at 200 pounds. And as you were saying, we went on there 5 times. Granted, there was never really much. We never really had any wait, so so to speak. We never had to wait for the ride, so we didn't see like a ton of people. But I don't think we saw anyone get turned away, as you mentioned. We saw people of all body shapes getting onto it, and they also have just so you know, when you first enter the main part of when you first enter the main part of the queue, to the right, it's hidden behind the little wall. Go to the right, you can find a mock-up, a mock-up of the seats you can sit in to see if you would actually fit or not. So definitely check that out if you're concerned you may not be able to fit. So,
yeah. Oh, and another question or comment. In terms of accessibility, the park is very flat. There are no stairs in the park itself, so everything is wheelchair ramp accessible or scooter accessible. And even in the areas like the binocular section, there's an elevator that takes you up to the top. And that elevator that actually goes from the ground floor to the top on the opposite side of the binocular zone, which is in that ice snowy kingdom, there is a section that goes straight into the Mario Kart zone. And then you could take the elevator to go down. So the park is accessible for all of those that may not be able to climb upstairs for whatever reason. And I think that was a very important part of the planning too. Even the games, like Goomba is flat. Piranha Plant is flat or tiny.
Right, well, Piranha Plant even has like a very gradual slope leading up to it, which I believe you could just roll a wheelchair up, for instance. Yeah, so this is actually one advantage it arguably has over Japan, which, despite Hollywood's smaller size, as part of that, it does seem to be more accessible. There's less stairs you have to deal with, because everything is pretty much on a single level, minus, as you mentioned, that like one little hidden area. I'd say hidden. It's kind of like off the beaten path, up to the binoculars, and also of course, I think, as you mentioned, the Mario Kart ride also has stairs to deal with, but there are elevators to help, so. Alright, my account says, do they have Peach's birthday cake there? So, unfortunately, no. I've seen pictures of the one they have in Japan. It's amazing. They have cool little cupcakes there at the Hollywood one, and I thought they were cute, but it's not as good as the cake they have, which is modeled after the Mario 64 cake. So I hope they bring that to Hollywood at some point, but that is amazing. It comes with a little letter from Princess Peach.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Is the park coming to Europe? So we don't know yet, but the next ones planned are Florida and Singapore.
Yeah, I don't think Universal Studios has a European presence, do they? So if they don't, it probably won't unless there's one I'm forgetting, but I don't think they do. Let's see. Matthew asks, "What's a Mario Kart ride like?" So we'll go more in depth in this in a specific video, but it's weird. It's weird in the sense that it uses new technology, like new AR technology, which is cool. It's not quite what I expected from a Mario Kart ride, but the more I went on, the more I liked it. So I would say it's fun. It's more shooting game than it is like thrill ride racing, for instance. It kind of feels to me like if you've done Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin at Disneyland, or maybe Midway Mania, or even the new Spider-Man ride at Disneyland. It feels like one of those, like it's kind of like a shooting gallery type thing, but like it's like ramped up, like it's like that on steroids, where it is more ride-like than any of those, I would say, but it's also more shooting gallery-like than I expected it to be too. So it's fun. I had a good time with it, and it actually grew on me the more I rode on it. Do you have any thoughts on it? Yeah.
On what part specifically? On the ride itself?
Yeah, just in general, like what it's like.
Yeah, the ride, like you said, it's less thrill ride and more a video game that you're playing while riding. So you're enjoying the atmosphere that they built, and it's also very gamey. And that's kind of like a very Nintendo thing to do. You know, try to make something a little bit different. What hasn't been done yet? What technology could we incorporate? And they're a very experimental company in the first place. Wii Remote, DS, dual screen, stereoscopic 3D, you know, Wii U and gamepad. Sometimes they hit more, sometimes they a little bit off, but more often than not, I think they, you know, pioneer and bring new things. So hopefully most people like this because, yeah, we had a good time with it. And we went on it many times. So some people would say, oh, I'm bored after that. We were like, oh, the manta ray. We didn't see that last time. Or, oh, whoa. So
there is a lot of detail in that ride. There's so much. I mean, I think the first time it's almost overwhelming. Like I didn't even know what to look at because just so people know, the way this ride works is there's a physical track, there are physical environments, there are physical like automatronic audio animatronics along with like screens throughout as well. But then on top of all of that, you're wearing these AR goggles that then layers in additional effects. That's how you see the racers racing around with you, like Mario, Bowser, like all the characters, and that's where you see like the enemies you can shoot. You have like you can shoot by looking at them. Then you have little triggers on your steering wheel, so you're shooting shells right at the things you're looking at, and that really does enhance the ride a lot. So any of the ride-throughs you're seeing, like on the videos, like even our own that we posted before from like I think the one you captured, Paul, from the soft openings. It doesn't it doesn't show you the whole ride. Like it doesn't quite convey how it feels because if you look at those videos, the ride looks super slow. It looks like it's slow plodding ride, and it kind of is, but those effects do a lot. They do a lot of heavy lifting and making it feel more immersive, faster. Not that it's ever a thrill ride, but it's definitely more exciting than the videos make it look. Do you agree with that, Paul?
Definitely. When, not to give too many spoilers of it, but certain moments of gust of wind going by you, Rainbow Road, when you have real lights, when you have AR lights, and when you have wind blasting at you, you're still going at that same, like, probably 6 miles per hour or whatever that the ride is, but it's like, whoa, being immersed, and, there's a lot there that it does feel a little bit more action-packed in that case.
It does, yeah. So we'll have more thoughts on that later in our full video, I'm sure. Jake the Kid has a super chat here for $5. Thank you, Jake the Kid, who asks, is the park just a new attraction with Nintendo stuff slapped on it, or is there something proprietary about Super Nintendo World that warrants seeing? I would say, actually, this might be the most proprietary-based land I've ever seen. Like, it feels so very distinct that it is kind of something that is worth seeing almost for those reasons. Because the Super Nintendo World, the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, I can never remember this freaking name. Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, that ride alone uses AR technology in a way we've never seen in a theme park before, to my knowledge at least. Certainly not in like the Disneyland or Universal space. And that's really cool. And on top of that, you have all these little, interactive elements throughout the land where you can scan your band, you can hit question blocks, you can find little secrets, you can play the little mini games to earn keys. You have these direct, more interactive experiences than you have elsewhere. Like, it almost feels like they took the magic wand idea from Harry Potter, the Harry Potter section of Universal, and really kind of like crank that up, because those are just simple activations. You have a wand, you flick it, and something happens. Okay, cool. But here you're actually interacting with the elements, and that is in general, and that's so much cooler, I think. Again, whether it's collecting coins or trying to find keys or get keys, I think it's just in general way more fun. Like, I would say, despite my concerns about the price of the power-up band, I'd much rather buy a power-up band than the magic wand at Harry Potter.
Yeah, same here. I'm also a bigger Nintendo fan.
Yeah, so I mean, that's true too, exactly. It's maybe not a perfect comparison. I don't really care about Harry Potter all that much, so...
Small bias, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Gavin just asked a question, do they take ride photos that you could buy afterwards? No ride photos, but they do take photos of you with the characters, Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach. And then
which I never got, by the way. They never took my picture, Paul. I got screwed twice.
So I found out that you don't need to sign up for that whole account thing that we thought. Just in the Universal Studios app, when you go into the Super Nintendo World section, you should be able to scan it like you do scan your Amiibo for the first time. So I haven't done that yet myself, but I'll let you know what the photo looks like. Kind of sucks that you still didn't get it.
I mean, I'll double check the app, but I'm pretty sure no one took my photo. So, which sucks. But yeah, I wanted proof that I met Mario and Luigi. I guess we got the video at least.
Yeah.
By the way, chat, I know there's a lot of questions. If we don't answer your question, please feel free to repost it. Just don't spam your question. But yeah, if it's been a little while, feel free to repost it, because there's so much coming in, we can't, see it all. So, Michael says they'd love to see Animal Crossing or F-Zero. I mean, I would too. Animal Crossing has a better chance than F-Zero. I don't think we ever see an F-Zero ride. There's no way.
Maybe they start taking. They won't do this, but you start taking down like, all right, sorry, the Mummy ride, we're gonna turn that into this. Sorry, Jurassic Park. There's too many other properties, so I don't think they're gonna take anything away on that same floor. But rumors, speculation, talk about building on do exist. So I wouldn't be surprised if something comes in the not too distant future, and that kind of might answer Matthew's question of any chance of Metroid or Star Fox. I would take both easily. Like, I think that's lower on the totem pole of likelihood. I think Donkey Kong, since we know Donkey Kong is in existence, at least being built in Florida, that would be the most logical one to come next here if it does officially happen. And then from there, who knows? Zelda, Animal Crossing, what's Nintendo's order?
Blade says, I don't think it's fair that they're raising the price to the public for the power-up bands. Yeah, if that is indeed accurate, that is unfortunate. I agree, especially at that price, which is still surprising to me because they have so little usage outside of the land itself. It's cool when you're there, but once you leave, there's almost no point to having the band. I wish there was like a rental system or something. I think that would be better if you could like rent the bands and just trade it in at the end of the day. So, Askew Plays asks how much are the bands. It was $40 when we went. We got ours for free from Universal, but it was $40 for the preview period. But as we answered earlier, it seems like it's going up for the official launch. Do we know that for sure? We heard that. Is that a sure thing, Paul? Or
we heard that, but no employee said it. Just people walking about saying like, "Oh, so we could,
don't lock that price increase in." But at a minimum, we know it's $40, which I still think is a little steep. But in any case, Lucas says, "I know you probably can't answer this, but do you have to buy a new power-up band each time, or is it a one-time purchase?"
You don't have to. I used this one in each visit, and it actually still had my coins that went along with me in the 4 times I've been there now, or whatever. 4 times, yeah. So the coins went through, so you always have it, and that's pretty cool. I think if you're going to go multiple times, the band will be worth it because you're going to get some extra fun use out of it. Not essential, but adds a little bit to the experience.
My account is wondering what power-up bands did they have? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. Daisy is the one I had to remember because I didn't see that too often. But Daisy, Princess Peach, Toad, Yoshi, Mario, Luigi. Yeah, Mario, Luigi,
that sounds right.
Yoshi, Toad, Princess Peach, and Daisy. 6.
Where's the Bowser band? Like, why doesn't he have a band? Does he?
I don't think so.
I guess because
I know he doesn't because Doug and I talked about it, and I was like, oh, they don't have a band for me yet.
That's nonsense. Which, by the way, ran into Doug Bowser there yesterday. That was a fun little thing.
Yeah, Doug's
the real
great.
Bowser.
Yes.
Super Aiden asks, how is the merch at the 1-Up Factory? I'm curious about it being a plush nerd, LOL. Speaking of plushes, Super Aiden, I bought where is it? There we go. I bought a Chef Toad. I couldn't resist. This was $20, so I think that's basically around standard theme park price. But he was so adorable, I couldn't resist. So I would say, I don't know how you feel, Paul. The merch was good. It didn't blow me away. I was hoping there'd be a little bit more distinct or more unique Mario things. A lot of it felt like things you could just find at I feel like a lot of the things are like the plushes I've seen at Best Buy on their shelves there. They have some cool shirts, they have some cool pins and stuff, but I don't know, I didn't feel like there was anything there that really grabbed me, oh, I need this, some little toys. I don't know. How did you feel about it?
Well, the one thing that I had to buy, which was the question mark pillow that refoldable inside out, it turns into the superstar. That was cool. That was a really
I like that
really cool thing. That serves as a pillow, that serves as a plush in one, so that was neat. All of the plushes are distinct. I mean, they all have Super Nintendo World badges or tags, so they're not like something that was reprinted from Best Buy, so they look a little bit different. So if you're the ultimate collector and you want that Bowser, it is going to be a little bit different. As far as the individual merch, they have some nice jackets that have the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge emblem on them. They have some nice wallets and lapels that have the Super Nintendo World logo. I think it's a pretty good amount. There's a lot of it. Whether you like it or not, that's another thing. I personally liked it a lot. but there's quite a bit to it too. And like the area that you are in is a really nice shop, right? With the pipes coming down from the ceilings, and it looks very atmospheric.
It does, yeah. I mean, and the Mario Kart ride feeds right out into it, of course.
Yeah.
The shop's not huge, though. Actually, I was a little surprised that it wasn't bigger, but I guess they also have the complimentary Super Nintendo World stores outside of the land itself as well. Which, you know, I don't know if it has the exact same merch or not, but...
Oh, on the outside ones?
Yeah.
The outside ones, they have most of what the inside one has, except for the power bands. The power bands,
Okay.
I believe, you could only purchase in the park, because I did visit. So there's like the City Walk store, which has is now Super Nintendo World themed. Inside the park, like a feature presentation when you first walk in, before Super Nintendo World on the ground floor. There's one off to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Down by Jurassic Park, there's another one, and then like there's the main one in it. So they all are mostly selling the same, except for power bands, only in that one shop.
And wait, isn't this shirt from the
Yeah.
shop too? Yeah, you actually got this for me before.
That's the one from several months ago, or like a year ago almost, maybe. But that's that, and I have the Bowser one. I'm not wearing it now, but I have that matching one in Bowser.
I also did buy the Luigi milk caramel chocolate while I was there, so...
Yeah. That's another food review.
Yeah, so I know. I might have to do that taste test. I saw a question from Ben, I think it was Ben, who asked, did you talk to Chris Pratt?
I did. I met him on the red carpet, and I spoke with him briefly, said congratulations about the role in the movie. Are you excited for it? Absolutely, you bet. Would it be all right if I took a picture? Yeah. Thank you. Let's go. He gave one me right back, and I said, thank you. Take care. Enjoy the park. Oh, thank you too. What's your name? Paul. Paul. Nice to meet you. Boom, boom. That's it. So it's like a quick little exchange, and a few times throughout the rest of the evening, like, hey, a little bit of a nod, and then that one part where Andre mentioned in the video where, I saw him walking up, so I did it's me, Mario, with Mario, and then he looked and gave a little wink to us, and that was just kind of funny because, He knew, like, Mario.
Yeah,
not official voice actor, but still.
Yeah, it was surprising. Like, yeah, it was kind of fun that, a couple of celebrities were just there, just hanging out. Like I didn't notice any significant security presence with them unless they were super undercover. Like, it was just a really kind of chill event overall that first night, which is really fun.
Yeah.
We had a question here from Super Agent says, Andre, seeing you at Super Nintendo World having the time of your life was amazing. You were born to play and you got to power up and live your dreams. I'm hyped to go myself someday. Love you guys. Yeah, I think Paul and I, like, we're both old school Mario fans. Like, we were born around the same time. We've grown up with Mario our entire lives. And I think we're both ecstatic to be there. Like, to see something I think we've both wanted for decades now finally realized. Like, and we've been waiting almost 10 years since its announcement, way back in 2015. It's crazy 8 years that it took this long to finally have it, but it was worth it.
Definitely. Someone is asking, maybe I'm understanding the question correctly, do they speak Spanish in the park? So I didn't speak to any. I mean, if you're asking, I don't know if that question is, do employees speak Spanish or anything like that? So I didn't have any conversations, but just walking about hearing, I heard some park guests ask park employees, and yes, they had a conversation in Spanish. So I'm sure that there are multiple bilingual folks that are working at the park. And to answer someone else's question, it was farther up, so I don't know who asked it. I apologize. But the question was, do employees feel like they're happy to be there? And everyone was, right? Like, you remember the one lady who was at the Mario Kart ride? She was dancing and moving on, and she was in theme. She was like, "Oh yeah, look at that! We do a little Frank on Toad here because he's the shortest one, so we put his gear up top." And like, she was in character with, like, she's a part of the, a part of the ride, right?
Yeah, like she like it felt like she actually existed in the world a little bit, like again the Harry Potter section, or even that Disneyland Star Wars section. Like the employees are really like embracing the land. Maybe not quite to the full extent, but I will say, like, almost everyone that came across was like super friendly, super energetic, just had a really good energy. Whether or not that'll last, forever, who knows? But for now, like, everyone's excited it seems like everyone's excited to be there, and it really just helped, like, just enhance the energy of everything. So, Gavin asks, how do you order food at the cafe? pretty much just like most other theme park restaurants, at least up until recently, where like Disneyland's gone to like a full-on like mobile order thing. But I prefer how they do it at Universal, where it's just like how it used to be. You walk up to a counter and you just tell someone what you want, and then they give you a number, and then that you take the number back to your table, and they'll bring the food to you after that point. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty seamless experience. And then we had someone else ask, I forget, where was it? It was, okay, here we go. 1996 Speedy Gonzalez asks, are you able to ask not to get mushrooms on your burger, or is it that you get what you get with no changes allowed? I don't know if we know for sure, Paul. Maybe you can speak to this more. But it seemed to me that we didn't try it, so I don't know for sure. But based on how long we had to wait for our food, which was about half an hour, I'm guessing you probably can't make changes, because it didn't seem like they just had everything ready to go sitting under heat lamps. Like, it seemed like it was made to order. So I'm guessing you probably can't make changes. But again, I can't verify that for sure.
Yeah, I can't verify either, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, at most restaurants, when you put in your order, like, you could say, oh, can I get the Mario burger but without the mushrooms, please? Like, when I had the Mario burger on one of my previous visits, and I just wanted to see everything as is, and I got it as such. But unofficially, but probably, as most restaurants, you could say, not this thing. Because it's not like it's also grounded into the meat, not woven on. So it's like, oh no, maybe they have that burger, specifically prepared with the mushrooms grounded in it, and like, well, they couldn't remove it in that case. But no, it's not. It's just a patty, and just don't put the mushrooms on it. So shouldn't be too hard for them.
Right. So someone else is asking how much it costs to go. I'm actually looking this up right now, because it's just a cost of admission for Universal Studios Hollywood. So I'm looking at the prices right now. So it's going to be that plus the cost, basically the cost of a power band. You don't technically need a power band. But okay, so a general one-day admission starts at $109, so it's actually a little bit more expensive than I thought. I do believe I've seen deals for cheaper than that, oftentimes, but I'm guessing that they're probably going to keep the price raised while Super Nintendo World's like the hot new thing. So it looks like right now, from what I'm seeing, for a one-day ticket, we're looking at $109, or around there. Plus, again, if you want the power-up band, that's going to be another $40 at minimum, possibly up to $60 based on what we heard. I don't know the exact price per person. So Slippa asks, is a scoreboard in the park a great substitute over the Universal app and using the power-up band? Is there a scoreboard in the park?
Not a visual scoreboard like popped up anywhere. The scoreboard is on your own smartphone, though, that you could check at any time. So if that's what you mean, the scoreboard is live and on your smartphone anytime open it up, and you could have your name, which is publicly visible, so pick something appropriate. And you could see based off of the team that you're representing, whether it's Mario, Yoshi, Toad, whomever, or the collective amount of coins for that day, like which group of people had the most coins, and like individual leaderboards, if you want to call it that. How did Paul Gale Network fare? How did Andre from GameXplain fare? I don't know if that was your name. I forgot.
I don't even know what my name was. I didn't even use the app at all. I actually didn't even use the app at all.
So there's a limit of characters too, so you can't be like 20 letters long or whatever. But it's a cool scoreboard. Another game-like element, honestly, and that's kind of a recurring theme. It's you're playing in the park. It's a part to play.
Right. Finn says, hi GameXplain, I have a question. Is this any different than Super Nintendo World in Japan? So I don't think either Paul or myself have been to the Japan one, but I have seen a lot of videos. I've been keeping up to date on, keeping up with the land in general. We had a whole review from someone who lived in Japan on our channel, and I was actually just looking back at that earlier today. And so from what I can tell, the main differences are we have one fewer ride to Hollywood. We don't have the Yoshi ride. They did try to make up for it with having a Yoshi exclusive queue portion of the Mario Kart queue dedicated to Yoshi, which is cute. Not obviously a full, it doesn't make up a full ride replacement. Beyond that, the land in Japan did seem to be notably larger. It's split up between two stories basically. You have more. It looks like there's more room to move around. They have more animatronics there. They have, for instance, I don't think we have a Shy Guy animatronic at the Hollywood one. We don't have the what's the name of those birds in 3D World? The giant neck, birds with the long neck. Yeah, condors. We don't have that. I will say though, so yeah, basically the Japan land is larger, and has a bit more going on. But I will say, like, without having, before looking back at Japan, I didn't feel like we were missing, like, going to Hollywood, I didn't feel like, oh, this is clearly an inferior version. Like, it didn't feel like, if you didn't know about Japan, like, I didn't feel like we were missing out on too much.
Oh, yeah. I agree. Without having been to the Japan one, don't have that to compare to, but I was very fulfilled and very satisfied. And another thing we, talked about the other day was you and I have been to plenty of E3s.
Yeah.
And being at E3 and being in Nintendo's booths, they usually have it's a miniature theme park experience, which was always in the back of my mind. Like, man, if Nintendo ever made a theme park one day, it would be so cool to not just have this, Mario Odyssey ship, but have a whole thing, not just this Breath of the Wild section, but a whole park. And it was overwhelmingly cool for us who have already experienced so much of Nintendo in live action with big props. So I think for the majority of the world, it's going to be just that times probably a greater experience because it's completely new. Mm-hmm. And yeah, never did I feel like, oh, it's really stinks that we only got that. If anything, I did hear that the Secret Life of Pets 2 ride, which is obviously not a part of Super Nintendo World, but it uses a comparable technology as the Yoshi's ride in Japan. So maybe, who knows if it was just not in the stars aligning to, have that be a Yoshi ride outside of the park, and it came out a couple of years ago, so it wouldn't have synced up well. But for what it's worth, you could ride that, close your eyes, and pretend that you're on Yoshi. It's not quite the same, but
that's true. Thrax asks, I have a question. I'm a huge fan of everything Bowser related. He's my favorite character in the entire Super Mario Bros. Universe. Is there any Bowser themed merch? If so, could you describe any worth the price? So I think you probably know more about this, Paul, but I do remember seeing this cute little Bowser plush, I think, at the store, right?
I'll be buying that on my next visit.
Yeah.
It's a very good looking Bowser plush, and I have a couple of them too because I'm a huge Bowser guy myself. I bought the Bowser shirt. That's my first Super Nintendo World shirt that I bought. It's kind of like Andre's. If you see his shirt right now with the Boo, I have one like his that is Bowser, and it's a really cool shirt. So I have that, but what I don't have is the plush, and it's different than the Build-A-Bear Bowser plush that came out. It's different than a standard Bowser plush from Best Buy or something. So it's a really cool one. And then my account asked, did you get to meet Mr. Miyamoto himself? We were 12 feet away at the ceremony, but we didn't talk to him that night. But
yeah, we didn't. I was keeping an eye out, and I didn't see him roaming around after that. Maybe he did. We could have been on the ride when he was, for instance. But I saw pretty much everyone else, a lot of the big names otherwise, and Shigeru Miyamoto was the one that we missed out on if he walked around afterwards. So, Zach says, "Hey guys, did you get the feeling that the park can become unbearably overcrowded, or is it big enough to hold enough people?" This is an interesting question because this is a good time to bring up the fact we saw this, of course, on press days. This was not nearly as busy as it will be on a public day. Although, Paul, you went during the you just went during the soft openings, which are busier than the press days, I believe. So you probably have a better idea. So keep that in mind when we talk about everything, because it's something we enjoyed. Not having to wait for it, might be less enjoyable if you waited half an hour for it, right? I will say I was actually surprised by how busy that opening ceremony was. It was packed in that little area, and then how it quickly emptied out with everyone dispersing in different parts, to the different the different nooks and crannies of the land, the different little sideshow attractions, the Mario Kart ride, or the shops. And I'm oh, this actually feels very comfortable. But again, this is only with I imagine a few hundred people. You throw in a full day's worth of public opening, which we actually have one of our team members are there now, Peach, and it's definitely way busier than it was when we went. And it's going to be interesting to see how it holds up then, because it definitely isn't, the main area of the land isn't all that big. It's not super small, but it's also not ginormous.
Yeah, they do good with the space though, because whatever you can't see, there's areas oh, behind here you can't see it, but there's Thwomp's underground area. There's, this side part that takes you up to the Ice Kingdom. Mm-hmm. Behind this gate, you're oh, the park is only this big? Oh, that's whole Bowser Jr.'s inside area, which is a really cool place to walk by. So, yeah, but once they get 5,000 people in there, how's that going to be? It might be a little crowded, but
Yeah,
They'll have some capacity restriction, I'm sure.
right. I believe that's what I think they are doing something to that effect. It's similar to how they handled the Harry Potter land opening, where they will limit the amount of people in there. So hopefully it won't get unbearable. But we'll see. I'm sure we'll hear more from people there on the first proper opening day, being today. Someone earlier mentioned that they're at Tron. They got to ride Tron at Disney World. I'm so jealous of you. That's awesome. Hope you enjoyed it. Please call me David. DJ says, is it better at the Japanese version or is the American version more superior? Again, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Neither of us have been to the Japan one. Based on what I've seen, like, it seems like pretty definitively the Japan one is probably superior. But with that said, again, I didn't feel like we're missing out on a whole lot, especially, again, having not been on the Yoshi ride, it also didn't seem that compelling to me from the video, so I don't think like it's a huge loss. I would prefer we had it here, but based on that and the land being bigger there, it does seem like that one probably is the superior one. But there are elements to the one in Hollywood as well that are exclusive or unique to it too, like again the Yoshi queue and the Mario Kart ride. So
Orange Knight asks, what are coins used for? Just bragging rights. Like the coins don't unlock anything. The keys do, but the coins just for comparison's sake. How well did you do in your coin collecting in the day? How many coins did you win when you were doing the Bowser's Challenge, the Mario Kart Challenge? So scoreboards, leaderboards, like kind of think of the coins as if you were playing at an arcade back in the day. If you've been around long enough to know what arcades are and stuff like that, yeah. What's the top score when you put your little initials to the end? That's what the coins are. So it's still a pretty cool element.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is. Sorry, there's so many questions. Edward asks, Andre, is Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios a very diverse experience where you can have a new experience every time you go there, or is it the same experience every time you go? Paul, you probably can answer this better because you've already been there a few more times, like at least a time or two more than I have. So, what would you say?
I think it's worth going for a daytime experience, a nighttime one, and if they ever have a special event, also. Now, in my 4 visits, fortunately, I got to maximize each of those 4 visits. I don't know if, like, how do I say this? I think it'll take most people more visits to experience the whole park. I got to experience, majority of the park in a smaller amount of time because there were less rides to wait. Like, will the standard person, next week, going when there's several thousand people in the park, be able to do all 4 contests, also do Bowser's Challenge, the Mario Kart ride, Bowser Jr.'s channel, and have food and take pictures with Peach and Mario and Luigi? Like, probably not. Even I wasn't actually able to do all of those because I didn't take a picture with Mario and Luigi until yesterday with you, and that was on my 4th trip.
Right.
So here's somebody that was in small crowds. It took me 4 times to experience it all. And nighttime is very different than day. And if they have any future special attractions, I would say, well, that day is worth it because just the lighting was different on our grand ceremony night. So I think it's diverse enough that, maybe if you had like a full 9 hours to the park for yourself to do everything and there's no crowd, you could just go once and have met Peach, Mario, Luigi, had your food, did your ride, all the challenges, everything, found the Pikmin, done. But yeah. I think most people are going to need a few times. And even like if you're redoing it, I've played that Piranha Plant Challenge several times now. It's still fun.
Yeah, so I
think it's still fun to do it again.
Yeah, I think basically what you're getting at is there's a lot to do here. You're probably not going to see it all in one visit, especially with, public crowds there. But I will say that, again, based on my experience, it doesn't seem like, any of the single activities I don't think they're going to change a whole lot between visits. Although you can have fun multiple times, like the Piranha Plant game is going to be basically the same each time. The Mario Kart ride is going to be basically the same each time. Like they're not going to be changing up anything here as far as we're aware. I don't think they have in Japan really, besides adding winter decorations. So yeah, I think there's a lot to do here. There's probably more replay value here than most theme park lands. But I think if you're able to get everything in one day, your next visit's not going to be much all that different, I imagine. So, asks, "Hey Andre, it was me," or who says, "Hey Andre, it was me who wrote Tron. We did the Hagrid's Rise talk through video together." Oh my God! Wait, was I on? I don't remember. Was I on a video about this? I'm so sorry. I might need a refresher. That's interesting. That sounds fun that we did that. Do we do it at the park or Am I? Yeah, tell me more about this. I'm curious now. Okay, I've seen a few questions asking what we would rate the attractions and the land. Hold off. We'll answer that in our full review. So we'll give you more details on our overall thoughts or our specific grading in our full review of the land coming up probably pretty soon in a separate video. So
I'm trying to scroll up to see who asked the question, are Pikmin in the park? Andre, you could answer this one if you want. I don't know who said it, but...
Well, you found them both. Like, I was doing something else, and you're like, and then you're like, oh, there's a Pikmin. So
like, Andre's recording, and like all of a sudden...
So we did two, yeah, we found 2 sets of Pikmin. We looked everywhere. I don't know if there's any more Pikmin. We actually asked the person we interviewed, her name's escaping me. Do you remember at the moment?
Abby Finnan.
Thank you. You're so better with names than I am. We asked her, how many Pikmin are there? She said more than 1, less than 5. I think it might be 2. We scoured that land. We went up to the highest points we could. We went to corners of the park I'm not even sure we were allowed in to like try to find more Pikmin. We could not find any more. So it's possible, maybe they'll be adding more. I don't know. But we found 2 sets, and if there's any more, I have no idea where they are. So
they weren't there on my first 2 visits, though. So the fact that they weren't and then they were means they definitely have the opportunity to add, like you said.
Okay.
Someone. Oh, I don't know if this counts. Ben Kibrick says, which animatronic looked the coolest in person? Andre and I don't know if this is animatronic, 3D, AR, VR, real life, or magic. There's a certain part in the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge ride which just blows your mind. I don't know if you want to explain it, but it's just the coolest thing. That's my favorite, if you want to call it that. But I don't know if it's animatronic because it just I don't know.
We'll probably talk about more in our Mario Kart ride review, so I don't want to get too specifics. But yeah, there's a part that blew my mind. I still don't know how they do it. Like, it might just be just a really good video, but like, I took off my AR goggles to see like if I could better understand how they're doing it, and every time it just blows my mind. Like, damn, that's really impressive. So follows up saying, "LOL, we met Animal Kingdom, then we did a call to do the discussion." Wait, were you the one who gave me the custom Pro controller handles? I think, was that it? So wait, did we do a discussion there? I definitely remember you. Definitely remember you. I don't remember the call. So thank you so much for those awesome gifts, by the way. Those are super freaking cool. Yeah, I love them. So yeah, it was great meeting you. I don't remember this freaking call. How can I not remember this? Was it on my channel or your channel? I don't remember. It must have been your channel, right? Yeah. Anyways, let's see here. Oh, it was on my channel? Wow, don't remember that. Sorry, continue.
Koopa Dude 1 asked, "Did you have a favorite food item from the cafe?" My favorite dessert, I think, was we didn't have it last time, but the question mark block tiramisu. I thought it was delicious. So favorite dessert was that, and favorite food, I think, was that Captain Toad's short rib.
That was really good.
The burger was good too, like really good quality burger, but the short rib was just like the softest piece of meat. Oh man. That might be the best one.
Yeah, by theme park food standards, and I say it makes me sound so snooty. Like, I actually like most theme park food, so I would say though, I would say it's actually in the upper echelon of, like, relatively quick to eat foods I've had at a theme park. Like, I think it's probably one of the better experiences that I've had. And we haven't talked about how cool that whole setting is, by the way. Like, you walk in, Captain Toad is or not Captain Toad, Chef Toad or whatever. He's talking to you on the screen, yeah, and he actually talks in English, and then when you're sitting in the restaurant, there's screens all around you. That, like, I say screens. There's windows that are screens, but like they show off like the Mushroom Kingdom around you. There's Toads and other Mario characters doing things outside. Like, some are doing jump rope. Mario chases enemies at some point, and also randomly Bowser's Doom Ship will appear and like start like a war in the kingdom, and the lighting in the restaurant actually darkens because it's storming outside at the same time. And it's so freaking cool. It's so awesome.
Yeah, that's fun. That's my new favorite restaurant to sit in terms of visual ambiance around me. Like,
yeah,
that's.
Thank you, Koopa Link, for the kind words. Let's see here. Oh, Mitchell says if they move the Pikmin around, that'd be awesome. Like moving hidden Mickeys. I didn't even think about that. That's a cool idea. I could totally see it because like they're not that big or complicated, so they could totally easily move them around. Let's see. Well, thank you, Christopher. I will thank you anyway, despite you saying don't worry about it. I did not find Gino. LA2 Class Productions. I wish Gino were there.
And no Zelda Easter eggs, at least that we've seen.
Yeah,
could there be some hidden Triforce? Well, I don't know yet, but probably I don't know.
We scoured that Mario Kart attraction. We didn't see anything. So it seems like the only non-Mario representation there, besides Donkey Kong, obviously, which is still kind of Mario, is Pikmin. That's the only one we've seen so far. So, Nerdy asks, my question is, how much Yoshi representation is at Super Nintendo World? Well, there's Yoshi on the Mario Kart ride. There's some merch for him. And then there's a whole section of the Mario Kart queue dedicated to Yoshi, which is a fun touch. And that's something that, again, didn't exist in Super Nintendo World Japan. Flickasaur asks, if you came dressed as a PlayStation character, would they deny you access? I don't know. I don't know. All right. Let's see. Flickasaur asks, what was it like to be in the presence of Chris Pratt? I don't know, Paul. What did you think?
He was really nice. We didn't have a long conversation, but just basically, introduce, congratulations on the upcoming role. Big fan. Yeah, looking really good. Park's looking good. Movie's looking great. Thank you. Now, what's your name? Paul, Chris, or Pratt? He goes by Pratt. So, I'm very formal with people. So but I knew that existingly he likes to go as Pratt. He's not fond of his first name, so people call him Pratt. So I said, "Oh, Mr. Pratt." But very, very nice. So I guess I'll try to take Chris out of my vocabulary for him in the future. So Pratt was, cool.
Get a right, Gale.
What's that?
I said, get it right, Gale.
not Chris Pratt. Just call him Pratt.
Yeah.
But he was cool. And
Grape asks, was there any Birdo representation? Was she in the Mario Kart ride?
Birdo?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing her. She might have been. There's so much going on in that ride. It's entirely possible I just missed seeing a character, but I don't think she was on there. So I don't think there's any Birdo representation yet in the land. It would be cool. Like, the Mario Kart ride does seem like something... I do wonder how much that actually changes ride to ride, because it is interactive, of course, so it inherently is going to be a little bit different each time you ride. But, like, I wonder if things like the characters or what they do, if that ever changes substantially or not. Like, do you remember, Paul? Like, I mean, there's so much going on, I can never remember what characters are appearing when, so I don't know if that really changes dramatically at all between visits, or if it's only based on what you do.
Maybe a little bit of both. Because there were two different tracks, and I remember, like, in one track we didn't see the manta ray, and on the other track we did. It could just be that we missed the manta ray, swimming by, or maybe that one is only visible from that side. But there are a couple of things that on Bowser's ship, when I don't know if it's bullet bills that are flying at you. Probably the bullet bills are flying at you from Bowser's ship. We did have that experience on both sides. There also are things that apparently are representative from, like, a collective standpoint, where there are these AR question mark blocks. And I said, "Oh, Andre, look over there. Can you access it? Can you hit it?" And you said, "No," right? Because I just did it. So it's not like, oh, everybody could just hit that same block.
Right.
It might be because it's also a game. And it's a game that you're competing in live. So it's not a ghost track version of Mario Kart. Instead, it's you're in a real and that's actually kind of a cool component. If you think about it in a Mario Kart, unless if it's a ghost, a time, ghost challenge where you're following yourself, in a regular game of Mario Kart, not everyone's going to get the power up item. You'll go through it, and if you're that other person behind you, won't. And the whole point of Mario Kart's, Bowser's challenges, who can get the most coins at the end. Mm-hmm. So certain things you gotta be fast and be on the lookout. We kept getting hit by lightning, though.
Yeah, yes, we did.
So certain things affect everyone. Like,
I'm still, wait, was it lightning or was it the piranha plant fireball? Maybe it was both.
That too. I think we got hit by a few.
I feel like there's got to be a way to at least avoid the fireball, but we never figured it out if that were the case. Like, maybe we could shoot the piranha plant. I don't know. Toady says every Mario Kart ride is personalized, and they say that in all caps. So I'm gonna trust Toady on this. It does seem like the Mario Kart ride actually is probably the most replayable element of that land. Not just because you're going with a high score, not just because it is inherently different because of how you interact with it, because you can shoot the AR elements, but also like there are technically two tracks. By and large, they're very similar, but there are a couple of points where they branch off, and you do see different things, and that's cool. But then there's the fact that every ride is, I don't know, there's so much going on. There's always things to do, new things to see, new things to interact with. It does that like every ride we went on, all 5 of them, Paul, they all felt distinct to me. So that's really fun. That is the most replayable part of the land, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, even though you're seeing most of the same things, you were looking everywhere. And if you were looking straight forward, you totally missed Mario coming off to your left. So there is incentive to ride it multiple times. And, you do have a little bit of control in steering. So as you probably get better, you're going through it a little bit faster. Maybe you're not getting hit by lightning as you're defeating, this portion. So
right,
having been on it a bunch of times, I'm still excited to go on my next time.
You know what? As I said before, I'll say more in our full review. Like, that ride's really growing on me. I was a little disappointed at first, but it's really kind of it's really my enjoyment really improved over time. Real quick, to break the fourth wall here, Paul, how much battery life do you have left on your phone? Paul's on his phone, so I'll make sure we're doing okay.
A couple of minutes ago, it hit 20.
Okay, so we may actually wrap this up pretty.
We lasted quite a while to go, though, so I think could have half hour, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we got more videos to make after this, so we may wrap it up pretty soon. So if you have any final questions, chat, let us know. We'll try to get to them. LA2 Class, yes, the Luigi's Mansion expansion will be amazing. There's actually a Luigi's Mansion arcade game, which is really fun. So they took that basic idea and just expanded it for a ride. Haunted Mansion combined with Luigi's Mansion arcade mechanics. Oh, that'd be so freaking fun. So, Hawk Pro asked, is the Donkey Kong expansion happening? So we actually asked. Paul, you actually asked our interview
Abby Finnan
subject, about this. We may post our full video later on. She didn't really say one way or the other. If you want to really read into it, it sounds like there could be future plans, but again, I don't want to take her words out of context. But I wouldn't be surprised if Universal is looking at things to expand on, especially if the land is a success, which it seems like it will be at this point. But they have not confirmed anything. Right now, it does seem like they're very much focused on the Singapore expansion and Super Nintendo World, or rather, the DK expansion in Japan, the land opening at all in Singapore, and of course, the entire new theme park, including Super Nintendo World in Orlando. So they've got a lot going on.
It's a lot.
It is. It's wild. I hope Disney starts stepping it up. I want them to really start competing with Universal.
Competition.
Yep, exactly.
Frosty Flame, no non-Mario merch being sold at this time.
Go ahead.
And Toti, I don't think it'll be too crowded to not fully enjoy. It'll be kind of like a lot of parks where, you have to wait, 3 hours for this thing now. You have to wait 30 minutes for this thing now instead of 2 minutes and, no time. But you're still going to have a good time. Mm-hmm. I don't think it'll be too crowded to not have fun, but just, it'll take a little bit of the fun out. But everything looks so pretty that while you're waiting in line, at least you could be, hop on 3DS and Street Pass, maybe.
That's true. Yeah, you did exactly that.
But that was a little bit of a GameXplain test yesterday. Does Street Pass still work?
I don't know how to pronounce this. Bunerex, I think. So, have you met anyone else in the park? Call me. Benton. I wish I read the whole comment. Call me Benton. We met at Mario Kart 8 and Twitter in Disneyland. I have met a few people at theme parks in general. Doesn't happen all that often, but yeah, it's happened a few times. You are one of the few though, so that was really cool. But yeah, it was great meeting at that time. But yeah, it doesn't happen all that often. But of course, I haven't been to a theme park in 3 years until just a couple days ago. So maybe it'll start happening more often again. But I don't know what this means. Toxic Radishin says everyone thinks they're cool until they ride the Donkey Kong ride. I don't get it, and they retracted it. So okay, maybe they don't get it either.
My account said any Mario movie representation besides Pratt. We didn't see, but I believe Keegan-Michael Key was there, who voices Toad.
Oh, really? I didn't see him.
I saw him on the red carpet in.
Oh, okay.
Some farther off, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't 100% do that, but I'm pretty sure I saw him, and Too far away, we're moving along, but...
Well, there's no... I don't think there's any actual movie representation at the land itself. However, there are posters at Super Nintendo World for the movie. Like, you'll see them when you're actually heading down the escalator down to Super Nintendo World. You'll see a whole entire wall with Mario movie posters, so... Alright. Slippa says, have you tested out the power-up bands as amiibo? I have not yet, so I think Paul did. I want to make a video about this. I might do that soon.
Yeah, it just acts as a standard amiibo. Like if you had a basic Mario one, put it on, your Wii U gamepad or your
oh yeah, controller. It would work on Wii U, wouldn't it? That's hilarious. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Redbird, we don't know for sure you can make changes at the Toadstool Cafe. We suspect you can, but we don't know for sure. We didn't test it. I'm sorry. So. Alexis, what's your question? I'm not ignoring you on purpose. I'm just not seeing your question. So, Ryan Morrow with a super chat says hi. Thank you, Ryan. Hi, right back at you. Armin asks
to know.
Yeah, go for it. No, go for it.
He wants to know. Did you have In-N-Out? Well,
yeah, we both did.
We did.
Yeah, it was really close to my hotel, which was really convenient, dangerously so. All right. Do you see any other questions there, Paul? You want to answer or?
Oh, I'm happy to. I'm happy too if any more pop up.
Yeah, I'm just taking.
How was it meeting? Getting tongue tied. How was it meeting Pratt? Echo Misty 07. You can't say Chris Pratt anymore. Just how was meeting Pratt? Very nice, pleasant. I always have a great appreciation when you confront somebody of fame in the real world. And you want to come off polite and kind to them, but you also can't help but I'm a fan of you. I like Star-Lord. I like, Jurassic World. I'm a fan of Mario, and I'm rooting for you to succeed in, this upcoming movie. So you want to address them properly, but if someone acts in a kind way too, and they are of a public figure, I appreciate it that much more because they probably get asked all the time. But he gave me the time of day. We spoke for a minute or two, took a picture, so he was really kind. So shout outs to Pratt. And, I appreciate that. We have a good photo, and you can check it out on GameXplain's channel. It's there. Yeah, he was really nice.
Gold member asks, was there anything about the theme park you were a bit let down on?
Oh. Go ahead.
No. It sounds like you have something to go. You have an answer for this.
My matching jean pants.
Oh my god, of course.
This is not the park's fault. This is my fault because everyone liked this. So this is my own personal... What was my biggest disappointment of the park is I didn't just also put on my Levi's denim jeans.
You had you had a second day to correct that, and you still didn't. This is a massive Paul Gale L.
Damn.
That's what the L in Paul stands for. Capital L.
Even Abby Finnan was like, "Oh, that's a missed opportunity. You should have worn that too. Next time, no excuse." So nothing that disappointing on the part though.
I would say my disappointment, and we'll talk more about this probably in the full land. I would say one point that stands out to me, and this is a minor nitpick. It does feel a little cramped. I feel like Bowser's Castle and Peach's Castle are kind of really kind of crammed in there to the point that when I'm looking at the land, it's so easy to just kind of miss them. Peach's Castle in particular, I feel like they really kind of downplayed its presence, and I think if it were up to me, I might have made it a little bigger, a little more centrally focused. I understand they had very tight size restrictions, so what I may have wanted might have been impossible. But I would say that is maybe a criticism. It does feel like it's a little cramped, and not everything is in an ideal spot for me, I would say. But my bigger criticism would be the price of the wristbands. The power-up band is ridiculously priced.
Yeah. Ryan asks, are we bummed about Bowser not being there? But actually, we met Doug Bowser, so he's there.
He was there. But he won't be there for everyone else there, unfortunately, Paul. We got the exclusive True Bowser experience at Super Nintendo World. So,
yep.
Minachu asks, were there any 8-bit Luigis around the park? Did we find it? We did, right?
A what Luigi?
8-bit Luigi.
8-bit, yes.
We did find him, yeah.
Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, and Bowser, and then we didn't find Toad, but I think Toad's got to be around.
I feel like it's gotta be, but we were pretty thorough in our search. But yeah, so I'll post a video about this probably, or we'll include it somewhere. You'll find these little scanning spots throughout the park. If you put your wristband up to it, then you'll pop up an 8-bit character, and yeah, Paul went over the ones we found. And that's actually a really cool technology. Like, that blew my mind. I don't even know how they're illuminating these things. It's gotta be from behind, but like, it's so cool because like it appears like you see this imagery appear out of nowhere with no signs of how it exists. Like, I don't know how they're fully doing it. It's really cool though. It's a really neat effect.
Bingo Bongo asked any celebrities besides Pratt that we met. Yes, Brie Larson, and she was also very pleasant as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool.
Super Aiden asks, would you recommend Super Nintendo World to someone who's never been to a theme park, Andre? Oh yeah, absolutely. I think if you're a Nintendo fan, you kind of owe it to yourself to check out Super Nintendo World. Unless you absolutely hate theme parks. I think you definitely should. And I think it'd be even more special for someone who's never been to a theme park before. So definitely check it out, Super Aiden. So, all right. Well, Toxic Radition says, what if, as an homage to 3D World, they hit a bunch of hidden Luigis? I mean, I think that basically is what it is. Like, the entire theme park really feels like they took 3D World as the primary inspiration, and the hidden 8-bit Luigi, or hidden 8-bit figures, do kind of seem to be a nod to the hidden 8-bit Luigis of 3D World, so...
Beamer RTX asks, how many Chain Chomp models are there in the park? How many specific Chain Chomp models? I don't know.
They're only on the ride, aren't they?
I think so. I don't think, like, out in the park I saw any models.
Yeah, I don't think there's any there.
No. There are Chain Chomp plushes, so however many they have in stock currently, you could say dozens. Those wouldn't be models.
I will say, speaking of, like, the models or animatronics in general, I love the thwomps. Like, seeing those giant thwomps lift up, fall down, and a little burst of air that comes out of them. Like, you see steam come out, or, like, you know, a dust cloud. That is so freaking cool. I love that effect.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I love that you can even actually walk right underneath one. There's a platform there to prevent it, you know, from falling onto you. But I love that, like, it actually can. You actually opened a cool touch, Paul. I don't think they do this, but I think it's just timed. It would be cool if they actually try to drop on the people as they walk underneath. Wouldn't that be neat if it were person triggered rather than being on a timer?
Maybe that's something that, like, as they get a bigger capacity and they have to wait for people to go in groups, they set it up a little bit differently. I mean,
maybe.
Who knows? But it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's possible that's how it works already, but there's just so many people that are just constantly being triggered, you know. So.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've answered most of it. Super Aiden, no. The only other game in Super Nintendo World represented right now is Pikmin. Otherwise, it's all Mario. So at the Hollywood one, at least for now.
But Super Mario Odyssey or Super Mario Galaxy, I think he has any other Mario games represented in some form.
Oh, sorry, I misread that. Okay.
There's that, you know, in the wait line for Bowser's race car challenge, Mario Kart challenge. We had that awesome. Remember, like we said, oh, this would be really good for a Mario Kart Tour racetrack. That, you know, beautiful Mario Galaxy paper craft of cardboard and all that.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love that.
There's some Galaxy representation.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you look, we have a whole video about the books in the queue too, and they reference all kinds of Mario games, including like Mario and Luigi and I forget all the others. There's a ton of references there. So yeah, they definitely, in a more subtle way, they do reference other Mario games, but it's definitely on the subtler side of things rather than like in your face. But like the Mario Kart ride itself is like very clearly, if not entirely strictly based on Mario Kart 8. Like, it's very clear that was their main source for inspiration there. Minachu says, any references or Easter eggs to Mario Party or Paper Mario? Maybe Paper Mario, I think, maybe. But again, you'd have to look at our video on the book references. I forget exactly, so. All right. Well, Paul, I think we're about time to wrap up here so we can record our other discussions as well. But do you have any parting thoughts for our audience at all, or any final questions you wanted to address?
Oh, 100% worth it is my recommendation. If you are a Nintendo fan, absolutely. Again, cost permitted, If you're not in Los Angeles, it's going to take a little bit extra, of course, to fly and stuff like that. But if it's convenient enough that you can go, definitely worth the visit, because you're going to be overwhelmed with visuals, audio treat, and it's just a beautiful place to be in. And you see so many people smiling, and people are there because they're probably like you, they're fans, and this might even bring back, I'll say that for the other video, like some more things that could bring back.
Yeah, we have so much to say about this land. We didn't even touch on all of it in this video. So I want to talk again. We'll have an in-depth video on the park itself, as well as the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge attraction, and I can't wait to talk about even more of it. But in the meantime, we're gonna drop it or close it out here. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for asking the questions. Thank you for the super chats. Stay tuned for our more in-depth videos coming up soon. We hope we answered most of your questions to the best extent we could. And when you visit Super Nintendo World, we hope you have a great time. So it's a lot of fun, and I hope it's as fun with with it even being more crowded now. So, all right, everyone, we'll catch you later. And Paul, where can people follow you on Twitter? They want to find out more from you.
At Paul Gale Network on Twitter. I'm on YouTube as well, but yeah, same name, Paul Gale Network. Thank you too.
All right, awesome. Thanks everyone
for that.
Catch you later. Bye.
Bye.